Hello, y'all. Today we are watching Haylo Hayley's Gen Alpha's addiction to technology is freaking people out. Now, I never want kids. Okay, I never want kids in my life. I don't want kids for many reasons. I refuse to have any kids. And like this generation right here, Gen Alpha, they're addicted to the technology, and it's really scary.
I think people need to be embracing this new trend of raising their children like it's the 90s and the early 2000s, because the alternative is absolutely terrifying. How I'm giving my kids a 90s style childhood. They're always playing outside, they're not on their iPads, they're watching PBS and slow paced cartoons. I'm always making sure our home smells of something baking. Our books are old 90s kids books, ones with more words than pictures, such as Goosebumps. We have weekly pizza nights, time at the arcade.
Now, if I ever had kids, this is how I want to raise my kids.
Baseball games on the weekend, a lot of board game nights with the family, slow weekend mornings with pancakes, and running out to the ice cream truck when it comes around. Now, what's absolutely crazy to me, and probably everybody watching this video, is that these are very normal things to be doing, Like, to everyone who is Gen Z and older, these are just regular activities and aren't much to be romanticized, because all of that was normal to us in our childhood.
It was normal.
But because Gen Alpha and Gen Beta are now being raised in a completely different world to what we were raised in, those aren't normal activities for them. What is normal for them is to have their mothers just sitting on their phones recording them in the kitchen, asking ChatGPT on their smart refrigerator with a giant screen on the door what would happen if she doesn't eat fruit, and not just directly asking her mother that question instead. And that is why I say the trend of
Why?
raising your children like it's the 90s or the early 2000s again is incredibly important for new parents to participate in. Otherwise, these kids will rapidly and irreversibly become totally reliant on AI and technology and screens to live. They will have no special memories of their childhoods in the future aside from their screen time, because they won't have the brain capacity to remember anything else because of the short attention spans that this screen time has given them. And they'll have less of a close relationship with their parents and their families in general because of how much time they're spending on iPads, iPhones, and now smart refrigerators. 8 ways I'm raising 90s kids besides just having them play outside occasionally. She raises them in a 90s tech home only. They're allowed Walkmans, Nintendo 64s, and landline phones. And she lets them be bored and gives them the chance to use their imaginations and find something to play with to occupy themselves. She doesn't coddle them and solve every single little problem they have for them to teach them that learned helplessness. She plays pranks with them, takes them to concerts, and shows them music videos. She gives them simple, non-overstimulating toys like Woody and Buzz figures, little green army men, and Nerf guns. They prioritize time with the family and surrounding their children with people who also encourage screen-less fun and activities to remove the temptation and create actual meaningful memories. And most importantly, the parents themselves rarely use their iPhones and live in the 90s with their kids so that they're setting a good example for their children.
Yeah.
And again, I know that to everyone watching this video right now, none of that is anything new to us, and we wouldn't struggle to do those things. But we have to realize that nowadays, instead of playing outside, these kids are on their phones. Instead of playing with toys, these kids are on their phones. Instead of using their imaginations, these kids are on their phones. Instead of spending time with their family, these kids are on their phones. I could keep going on and on, but you guys get the point. These regular activities need to be embraced and pushed onto kids by their modern parents. across the board. Because otherwise, if you don't introduce these, quote, normal childhood experiences to them at such a critical age in their young lives, they grow to be like this. Technology obsessed, unable to live without
Oh my god. Why?
a screen, blue light fiending addicts who act like junkies by laying directly on the countertop just to get whatever sliver of screen time they can by staring at time on the Amazon Echo at an extremely close distance to their faces. And I was seeing people in these comment sections of these parents giving their kids 90s and 2000s childhoods having problems with it. Yep, I know. How ridiculous is that? Okay, so the idea is cool, but it's also not the most clever one. Like, what are they gonna do when they have to get a job? It will be astonishingly hard to get them used to today's technology.
Gosh.
And I am sad to say this, but at the rate that technology is progressing, in the future, they will have a hard
They're gonna have it gone for like a little while, for God's sake. It's not gonna be gone forever.
time surviving in this world.
What the hell? Oh my God, no way.
You shouldn't raise your kids that way. Because what about a job? Like, you people cannot be f***ing serious. You would rather sacrifice a kid having a nostalgic and memorable childhood that they will look back on fondly and lovingly, because in the future they have to get a 9 to 5 and contribute to capitalism? That's what we're prioritizing over these kids having a good childhood? Oh my god, you people are so goddamn brainwashed. Let them be children and don't start already trying to force a career on them when they're 5 years old. And secondly, most importantly, really, baby boomers weren't raised with screens, Gen X weren't raised with screens, millennials weren't raised with screens, and Gen Z wasn't raised with screens. And yet, all of us adapted to touchscreen technology extremely well. Clearly, as we're all using it without much difficulty in the slightest. So why the hell do you think it would be any different for them? Is that how stupid you think these kids are? You put your finger on a screen and boom, you've learned how to use current day technology. You scroll, you tap, and you swipe. What kind of teaching do you think is required for that? They will be just fine, dude. Jesus Christ. And even if they do get to the future and they supposedly don't know how to use that technology very well, they'll be just like all of us, where we didn't have that technology and then we learned how to use it. What? Yeah. And I find it absolutely wild how people are hating on this way of raising children because these kids will be, quote, unable to use technology when they're older. But here's the thing. These kids are using technology, just not the stupid iPads. They're playing on the Nintendo Wiis. They're watching animated movies on a DVD player. And they're playing on old educational websites on computers like kids were doing in 2004. So it's not like their parents are completely stripping them of any sort of technology whatsoever. So why are you people acting like that? Because what we have now is any better, right? I'd actually argue that encouraging your kids to use technology from a more bygone era makes them actually more technologically literate. Am I wrong? Because you're teaching them how to do so much more than just swipe and tap like a robot all day. Like, are you gonna say anything about the screen addicted kids we have nowadays who don't know what a Nintendo Wii is? Or how to load a disc into a DVD player and play it? No. So shut up. Because now these kids will know how to use both older technology and newer technology. And how is that ever a bad thing?
Welcome to 2026, y'all, where the parents sell the Girl Scout cookies and the kids play on devices. Man, I was walking into work and seeing this. Y'all ain't getting a dime out of me. You gotta work for it.
Pizza Hut right now is offering any large pizza for just $10.
Oh, gosh.
Just download the Pizza Hut app now.
A mother stretches
another
one
ad.
plate across all 5 of her children. A father skips meals.
Yeah, I don't care. I think most people would actually like to sacrifice their kid not understanding the skibbity toilet meme to relate to other brain rotted children in a heartbeat so that they don't end up having to do their child's jobs for them while they just get to sit on their asses, scrolling on their iPhones and having every single little thing in their lives done for them so that they don't have a single ounce of independence for themselves in the future. I think most parents would pick not having their children be able to relate. And if you think that's cruel, sorry, I don't care, that's my opinion. And let me tell you something, not only are mothers doing their daughters' Girl Scout requirements for them, they're also teaching their goddamn children how to use an iPhone and how to type text messages on it before teaching them how to wipe themselves properly in the bathroom. Because this mother on TikTok...
What? No fucking way. No fucking way. Oh my god.
Who has since deleted these screenshots, thankfully, said that her kindergartner daughter was able to text her mum to come and wipe her, despite the fact that kindergarten-age kids should already know how to do that. Firstly, why the would you upload this on the internet? That is not only an extremely personal and private matter that should only be discussed behind closed doors and that shouldn't be uploaded to the internet whatsoever, but secondly, you didn't blur her face or her name either. I did that in those screenshots. So if anyone in her future, when she's in elementary school or she's in high school, finds those screenshots that her mum uploaded, do you know how many asshole kids are gonna use those screenshots against her to make fun of her? Holy shit, just keep some things to your goddamn self.
Yeah, you gotta
once.
keep your things.
It's not that hard because you're not embarrassing your daughter, you're embarrassing yourself. When it comes to your major failure in parenting for prioritizing an iPhone over teaching your child basic life skills that they will need for the rest of their lives. I mean, it's not even parents implementing this lifestyle for their kids. It's also childless adults doing this in their own lives as well. They try to live a more 90s and 2000s lifestyle by making time for daily walks outside without technology, revisiting analog creative activities by painting again, buying a secondhand clock from a thrift store so that they get all of their news from the radio in the morning instead of social media, looking at magazines while eating meals or drinking coffees instead of looking at an iPhone, buying DVDs again and ditching streaming services, writing in a physical day planner and journaling in notebooks instead of writing everything they need to do on the Notes app in their iPhone, or reading more books and playing puzzle books to avoid spending more time on a phone. And it's important for us, the older generations, to be doing this as well. Not for our development, but because to a lot of people now, watching television is now starting to feel like a detox. And keep in mind, TV used to be something that people viewed as rotting your brains, and now we're seeing that as the detox from the brain rot.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man.
Even something as simple as moving from the tiny screen to the big screen is helping people. And if that doesn't say everything, I don't know what does. I mean, it's not even adults who want to go back and live in the past. It's teenagers of today who are rejecting everything in our current day society because they want to go back to 2016 or 2018 or 2019 so that they could experience what it was like to be a teenager just a couple years ago. No one has any interest in being in 2026, but we're literally all trapped into living this way with no other option. So do you honestly think that Gen Alpha kids and Gen Beta kids are going to care in the future that they didn't get to grow up with the brain rot on social media to relate to their generation? If every single older generation and generation that came previously alive on planet Earth right now hates what modern life has become and wants nothing more than for life to just go back to the way that it used to be, they'll want to relate to us, dude. They don't want to feel left out. I mean, you can't even blame people for hating our current day and age, because even our appliances have become pathetic, as a blender bought not even 2 years ago in 2024 totally breaks and no longer works, but a blender purchased in the 1970s over 50 years ago still works just fine, like it was just bought yesterday. Bro, when can we all collectively agree to put an end to this insanity? Because it's not gonna get better, it's just gonna get worse. So we should turn around now. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Mwah! I love you all so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys!
Alright.
Love
That's all.
Roblox? Earn Roblox digital gift.
Alright. That's all for today. Bye.